and welcome to my channel. So glad you could join me today. I am making more tickets. So for those of you that did not see the first one, you will need a tracing wheel with the little bumpy edges, not the smooth edge, and a hole punch, and then a book to make the perforations on. So I have a digital download of some blank ones and music ones. And the thing I forgot to say last time was, some of you might look at that and say, why do I need that many tickets? Well, you can, I'll pull this out here, you can just do one row. If you just wanted one row of tickets, or two, or three, you don't have to do the whole page. Sorry, my papers keep getting in the way there. So that's one thing that's nice about it. You don't have to do the whole thing. You can do a few. So quickly I will run through how I made them. So this page here is all seashells. But when it's cut up, it looks really vintage. I don't think you can even really tell. I mean, if you look super close, you could tell that they were tickets. I mean, tickets. That they were seashells. So I just punch. Now others have done this too. Just using the hole punch. Then with the tracing wheel, oops, I missed one over here. With the tracing wheel, I just go back and forth a few times to make the perforation, and they tear really nicely. Now the thinner the paper, it's a little harder to tear, so you have to really bend them back and forth a few times so that it doesn't rip your paper itself. So there. Then you have your tickets. Let me put this all out of the way. So I debated what to title this. I think I'm going with ugly/unwanted papers. They aren't necessarily all ugly, but sometimes I've had paper that I thought, oh, I'll probably just end up covering this and using it as a collage paper for the background. But when I started going through to make these tickets, they look really cool. So, you know, like from that to this, and like I said, it looks very vintage. So let me pull out what I've done. Okay, so this is the next picture. This whole paper pad is photographs, and it's 12 by 12, so they're large photographs. So this is just a landscape, clouds in more sepia tones. So from that, let me show you again here. So you have to decide what part of it you want, because like this is 12 by 12, and obviously my paper is 8.5 by 11. So you have to decide if you want, you know, more of the clouds or the landscape. I did mostly with the landscape. So like on this one, you can see just a tiny bit of the landscape in it. I thought this would look good on a like an envelope decoration. So here's one of the tickets. You can see how it starts with dark and goes up to the light in the clouds. And I made this tag. So look at the difference from the top of my tickets to the bottom. It's a big difference in color. So you can get totally different looking tickets depending on what part of the paper you cut out. So all of these tickets came from that same sheet. They just look different because of the different areas that I took them from. So they look pretty cool. We put those aside, and I'll pull out my next one. So this one is just a giant rose. First time I saw this, I thought, what in the world would I do with that? So I figured I'd cover it up. But this is how the tickets look. So you've got some that are almost all darker gray. This is a little bit of a different shade of gray, on up to lighter gray. So again, the tickets all look different. So here are a few things that I made from that. I think this needs inked around the edge, and I'll put a little tab at the top. So that's that giant rose one. They turned out really cute. I don't know if I've done like black, white, and gray before. Originally I was going to make like 4 or 5 things from each sheet to show you, but it was taking me forever. I think it's been, what, a week maybe since I've made the last video? I don't know, maybe it's been longer. So I thought, well, I better just stop. So this next one I only made it, uh-oh, I dropped my ticket. So this is just a picture of green grass. Again, I didn't think I would probably ever use that. So this is how the tickets turned out. And I thought of nature things, obviously, since it's grass. So I've got an owl and a flower, and this one is a paper clip. I guess you'd want to put it at the top. Yeah. So that's the grass one. I could have just kept going and making and making and making and making tickets, and I thought I'd better stop. So the next one is sand. It's just a picture of sand. Again, very vintage looking, and it looks really well when you put it with the seashells. So I need to make some of those, but I hadn't done that yet. So the tickets end up looking like that. I only made one thing from this. I thought I had made more, but if I did, I didn't find them. I just love how that turned out. Doesn't that look really, really vintage? So that's that one. And this one is just water. Again, didn't think I'd ever use it. So there's water. These are how the tickets turned out. Again, like that one's almost all blue except a little streak, depending on where you cut them from. So these are the items I made from those tickets. It's a really pretty blue. There's just so much you can do with these. I had torn out lots of pages, but there's no way I got to all of them. Another picture of water. This one, let me get it in frame where I cut. I cut this here part here because I didn't want just down here, basically is just black. So I cut out that top part. I think I went down here. So I got some of the dark, but not the total black. So this is one of the first ones I did. So I've got several items. Here's how one of the strips of tickets look. And each strip looks different, again, because depending on where you cut it from. So it goes from light all the way to the dark. And I had so much fun with these. So this ticket, I did front and back. And so that would be a little tag that you could stick inside, or journaling card that you could stick like inside of a pocket if you had, and then the little tab would stick out. Then here's another one. And a little cluster. And another guest check where I used a light one along with a dark one. That looks really good too. So that's the ones out of that paper. hard to tell when you're making the video if you're leaving things out long enough for people to see. Sometimes when I watch videos, I do it so fast, but when you're doing it, it doesn't seem like you're doing it that fast. Another one of water, third one. But this one, as you can see, it has like the turquoise at the top, the ocean water. It's got the foam and a little bit of the sand. So this is one of the strips of tickets. You can see the difference from here to here. Total difference in color. So this little tab, I took one of these bottom tickets, or maybe it was the middle, and I cut it in half. Put half on one side, half on the other. Again, you could stick it inside a pocket, and that little tab would stick out. And that's just an index card that is made from graph paper. So there's that, and then I made a little cluster. I didn't do this on purpose, but it was kind of cool how it turned out. The paper in the background has Argentina in it, and the ticket that I put on there is from Argentina. I didn't even notice that till I was making it. So yeah, so there's that. Then this one was kind of wild, and I did not think I'd ever use it. But it actually makes really pretty designs. Look at that. Pretty wild. And I'll show you, I only made a couple things from it so far. Because I printed 8.5 by 11 sheets of every one of these, so I've got lots of tickets. So here's one of the strips. So look at the differences from ticket to ticket. Huge difference on that one. So this here I thought could be like on the edge of a page. Just lining. Thought that'd be pretty. You could put something in the middle for decoration. I just didn't think of anything at the time. And then I made that little tag. Because this picked up the orange, so I thought, well, that would look good with that. This would be really good for, I think, fall ones. Put those aside. This is the next one. I have no idea what's the top and what's the bottom. And here's one of the tickets. And I only made one thing from that so far. I think it turned out really, really pretty. Put a word in there, or whoever uses it, whether it's me or someone else, you could write something in there if you wanted. So that's from that paper. I'll show you one more. Like I said, I could have gone on forever. This one was kind of wild too. I'm like, oh, I don't know if I like that. But again, it kind of depends on what part of the paper you cut out for your 8.5 by 11. So here's one of the tickets, which varies a lot. But I thought this here part with the brown and the orange would make a cute little fall little cluster, so I cut out part of a pumpkin and glued on there. And so that is that one. So yeah, that's what I made so far. Like I said, I wanted to make more from each one, but it was just getting to be a little bit too much. So I really like how they turned out. I'm not going to be able to put all of these out there because there's just not room. But I can put a few out here. So I hope this inspires you to look at your papers maybe a little bit differently. I know other people have done things that videos on things that you can make with, I don't know if you want to call them ugly paper, but paper that maybe you wouldn't normally use. Because I don't know if any of them are ugly, but yeah. So there's some ideas for you. I have one more video that I'm going to make with some other ideas that you can use these blank tickets for. So thanks again for watching. You have a terrific day. Bye.